that everyone can hear me all right. I would like to say a few words of introduction before we start the webinar. This way it gives everyone a chance to adjust their headsets and the volumes to make sure that you can hear me okay. First of all, good morning. In some countries it's almost afternoon, so good afternoon to you. And welcome to our first webinar of the Age-Friendly Environments project. This project was launched actually in February this year with the support of the European Commission under the ICT Policy Support Programme. Just a few words of introduction before I give the floor to our speakers. We will record this meeting so that it's available to everyone who could not join us today. We're going to make it available on our website in the coming days. The PowerPoints of today's webinar will also be made available on our website in the coming days. We have an agenda for everyone who can hopefully be able to see it now on the screen. Firstly, Anne-Sophie Perron, the Secretary General of Age Platform Europe, she will give us some information and background to the project, looking a bit also at what's happening in the European Union and the policies related to our project. Then our colleague New Tram, who is the project officer working on age-friendly environments at the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, she will give us a presentation on how to join our network, what our network consists of, what are the benefits and commitments that the members of our thematic network will have to take. Then thirdly, we will have Joan Martin, who is responsible for age-friendly environments in Louth County Council. And she will tell us a little bit how they are working in Louth on age-friendly environments, how they're working to be more age-friendly in the community, and also how they're involved in our network. Now, a number of participants might be thinking, how could they interact in this webinar? Well, you'll notice on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, there is a chat box. At the moment, it's empty. You will be able to ask any questions that you have to the speakers in the chat box or any comments that you have. What we will do is I will read out the questions after each presentation in case there are any questions and ask the speakers to answer. So please use the chat box on the bottom right-hand corner to ask any questions you may have throughout the duration of this webinar. I think that's all from me in terms of introductory remarks. I will then pass the floor to Anne-Sophie, who will hopefully have the webcam on because my webcam isn't working this morning, so you cannot see me, who will give a presentation that she has prepared.
Just to explain how the whole idea of promoting age-friendly environment was born, I would say, within our movement, Age Platform Europe, and a number of partners. It goes back actually several years ago when we started to cooperate with the World Health Organization, who has launched a global network on age-friendly environment to promote active and healthy aging at the local level. And build on that, we tried to import, I would say, the idea of age-friendly environments within the EU processes. We were able to do that through various EU policy domains and works that were starting around active aging. And in particular, we've got the possibility to really move one big step forward through the European Innovation Partnership for Active and Healthy Aging, which has created the possibilities for different stakeholders to get together and to address and work together on different areas of actions that promote active and healthy aging. And we were lucky to get a call for proposals, which... Sorry, were you trying to talk to me, Christina?
Yeah, the PowerPoint is now online. You may use it.
Yes, okay, thanks a lot.
Okay.
So
your webcam isn't on, so...
The webcam is not on? Yeah, is that fine now? So do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks to the support of a call for proposal, which was directly linked to the European Innovation Partnership for Active and Healthy Aging, we were able to move one big step forward and submit a proposal, which I'm going to explain to you, which seeks to create a thematic network for innovation around age-friendly environments, and which is called in short AFE INNOVNET. And we are very happy actually to have this first webinar today, because today is a very special day. It's the European Day of Intergenerational Solidarity, which is celebrated now for the last 4 or 5 years on the 29th of April 2014. And for us, it's very relevant because what we are trying to do by creating age-friendly environments is actually creating environments for all ages, including, of course, all the people themselves. So just to give you a little bit of background information, we all know that Europe is aging very rapidly. Of course, if you look at just about more than 100 years ago, but the life expectancy was very low. It was around 47 years old. Nobody would believe it today. Now we know the projections are giving an increasing life expectancy. We will reach by 2050 a life expectancy of 86 years old for women and for men 81 years old. That means we are going to have very old people. But already today, the problem is that we live longer, but we are not living in good health until the end or almost the end of our lives. We have quite a big lapse of time at the end of our lives where we can expect to have health problems and or to become dependent on others for our daily activities. This is the major problem that local and regional authorities are facing today. And this is what the EIP on active and healthy aging is trying to address by improving by 2 years the healthy life expectancy, but also all policymakers at all levels of governance are trying to find innovative ways to support healthy life years by promoting active and healthy aging. And this is the purpose of our thematic network. So, as I explained earlier, our project is very closely linked to the European Innovation Partnership on Active and Healthy Aging. And the way we try to support this EIP partnership is by setting up a large EU-wide community of local and regional authorities, but not exclusively public authorities, but also other relevant stakeholders. That means industries, research centers, NGOs, civil societies, and so on, who need and wish to work together to find what we call smart and innovative evidence-based solutions to promote and support active and healthy aging, and using the approach of, that was promoted by the World Health Organization of developing age-friendly environments. By age-friendly environments, we mean not only the physical environments, the public space, housing, but also transport facilities, the way health and long-term care is organized, the way the daily services that everybody needs are organized. So it means, yeah, reorganizing completely the way our society is organized and services are provided to take on board the fact that our society is rapidly aging. So the approach and the whole project we have developed is very much based on the approach that has been promoted since 2008 by the World Health Organization Global Network on Age-Friendly Environments. We are not trying to create something which will compete with the WHO Global Network or the WHO Healthy City Network, but on the contrary, to bring those processes together and go one step further by coordinating that and putting it in the EU agenda, the EU context. So for us, the starting point is really that the environment in which we are living has a very key impact on the way we are going to age, whether we are going to remain healthy, independent, and autonomous in our old age. Even today, you can imagine to take one person, older person who has some impairments or some chronic diseases, and depending on the environment he or she is living, that person can live independently and can continue to contribute in society, in their communities. But if the environment is not supportive, that person becomes dependent on others and has a poor quality of life, has a long period of their life with dependency and illnesses, and becomes also costly to the public purse, which is the reason why we are really focusing and trying to promote age-friendly environments all across the EU. We are not, as age, the only ones to share this vision that the promotion of age-friendly environments is key to solving the demographic challenge that Europe is facing. We are, in our consortium, we have 29 stakeholders involved. They come from 16 member states. You can see the list here. We have altogether 13 cities, and we are very proud to have this large number of local and regional authorities. We have 6 regions as well who have joined us. We have 5 large EU networks who deal with different issues either linked to aging, such as Age Platform Europe, Alzheimer Europe, but also the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, who represent all the local and regional authorities, the European Social Networks, with a very large network of social services, EuroHealthNet, who is the expert, I would say, in public health. We have large research centers who are very well known in the aging field. You can see them there. And we have also as a partner a communication agency who is used to do large communication work for the Commission, and this helps us a lot. In addition, we have also WHO Europe and Eurofound, who are providing advisory role in our project, and we count on them as well. And then we were not able to get everybody in who wanted to join the consortium, so we have also a large group already of 40 supporters who have decided that they will support the project, although they could not join formally. What are we trying to do with this project? Well, from the beginning, as I said, we have been able through the EIP on active and healthy aging to join this European partnership and to define what we wanted to do through this EIP. And AGE and a group of partners who are involved in the consortium got together under the D4 Action Group, which seeks to promote age-friendly environments as a support to active and healthy aging. And inside this D4 group, we have divided our work into 4 action areas, and all 4 are represented in the consortium. And with this thematic network, what we want to do now is to work more specifically on the commitments that each of us had made when we joined the D4 Action Group. The first one being we need to mobilize a much wider range of stakeholders, and in particular local and regional authorities. But just bringing people together is one good thing, but it's not enough. What we want to do is then, together with this large group of stakeholders who will join the thematic network, we want to develop methodologies to help local and regional authorities to assess the impact of whatever initiatives they take. What kind of socioeconomic impact will this initiative on age-friendly environment have for their own community? It's a very important question that any public authority asks themselves before they start investing in some initiatives. We want also to use this thematic network to support and create really a strong participatory approach, which will be based on the fundamental principle which is behind the WHO initiative of age-friendly environments. That means involving from the beginning and in all stages all the people themselves, to make sure that whatever is implemented or proposed will really meet the needs of the aging population it is targeting. This is for us a very key principle, and we will develop some specific tools and guidelines to help local and regional authorities benefit from the experience of others who have already done that. There is a huge demand from the consortium partners, but also those who have joined the thematic network already and others. They would really like to be able to find easily some notable and replicable practices that could inspire them. So we will develop a repository of such practices, and you will hear later on, we will of course need your help for that. We want also to facilitate pilot project clustering. This is very important to enable a group of projects to go further in the area they're working on, but also to share their experience with others so that all can benefit from the work they are doing. Then, of course, as I said earlier, we want to make sure that there is a strong convergence and strong coordination with the work that WHO is doing on age-friendly cities and through their Healthy Cities initiative, so that cities who have joined already the WHO networks will be able to and find it normal, I would say, and important for them to join the thematic network we are setting up. And then the ultimate objective of our project is actually to frame and launch what we call an EU Covenant on Demographic Change. There is such one that exists already on energy. And it is a way to bring together local and regional authorities to work towards common vision. And it enables them as a structure to cooperate, share experience, learn from each other, what works, what doesn't, and also get new partnerships when they share the same challenge, for example. So the covenant that we want to launch at the end of the project will become the permanent structure that will enable the partnership to continue, the thematic network to continue. So just to summarize the way we have built our project, and you will hear more on some specific objectives that we have later on. We have, of course, some general activities, management, communication, and dissemination, which will support the three main pillars of the work which is going to be done and has started already and will be done during the whole project, which is first the mobilization, which is work package 3, and you will hear New Tram just after me. We will explain why we need you and how you can join and how you can get involved really in the whole project activities, because the mobilization per se is really a key objective of this thematic network. We want to mobilize the wider group possible of stakeholders. And then with those who will have joined, we will work on developing tools to support an evaluation culture, because this is now, in particular, since the crisis started, something which is badly needed. Everyone who wants to work and develop some kind of initiative to promote age-friendly environments is looking for ways to make sure that they are not making a mistake, they are not going toward the dead end, but they are really going in the right direction. And that means it implies an evaluation culture and tools to enable them to go indeed in the right direction without wasting resources. And then the work package 5 is going to provide support for the uptake of innovations through analyses and information, more detailed information on some specifically good practices and clustering of projects, and organizing also some matchmaking events to link up with the offer, those businesses and others who have some solutions to solve problems that will have been identified by the local and regional authorities. And all these three main pillars will work and help develop the covenant on demographic change. They will create the tools, they will create the mobilization we need, and they will create already some background information repository and detailed information on some specific practices which have proved to be really good and have evidence already. So this is, in a nutshell, what the whole project is about. And as said earlier, it is a project for 2 years, which will finish at the end of January 2016. And by then, we hope that the covenant will be strong enough to fly by itself, or we will have a strong support that will enable us to move forward and continue on a more permanent basis. So if you need any help, Julia Wadou, my colleague, is coordinating this project, and you have the contact details here, and I'm sure all the presentations will be available online, so you can find this information afterwards. Thank you very much. So, Christina, the floor is back to you.
Thank you very much, Anne-Sophie, for this presentation. I've just asked the participants of the webinar if they have any questions to type them in the chat box. In the meantime, I've been scanning the earlier chats to see if there have been any questions. I have one question from Dimitar Pahilivarov from Bulgaria, and he was asking at the beginning of your presentation, you had some figures, I think it was on the background info slide that you gave. Where were those figures from, and are they global figures or European figures?
Those figures actually come from EU documents. So they are more looking at the European region, the EU.
Okay.
Well, that means, maybe just to clarify, this project is mainly EU focused because we are trying to incorporate, as I explained earlier, the WHO process of age-friendly environments as well as the Healthy City program they have. So it has an EU strong focus. It is funded by the EU as well, but we are not remaining within EU stakeholders. It is also open to non-EU stakeholders, whether from the UNEC European regions or even people outside the European regions. The more stakeholders we will be, who will join and share experience, the better, because the challenge of aging is similar almost in all regions of the world. But we want to make sure that it keeps this EU specificity, because for those who are not familiar with the EU, it has very strong policy processes which enable us to really have policy decisions made. And there is already a decision made by all, I would say, national ministries dealing with older people to really promote and support age-friendly environments. There is also EU funding, which enable stakeholders who are eligible to, for example, join a project and be able to promote together some approaches with the benefit of EU funding. The Commission has done a very good job making sure that the key objectives of the EIP on active and healthy aging are included in the relevant EU funding program, and the new programming period is just starting now. And we can see that there will be huge opportunities for stakeholders to use EU funding, apply for EU funding to promote age-friendly environments.
Thanks a lot, Anne-Sophie, for that detailed answers. I'm just monitoring the chat. There is one question from Carlos Vargas asking about the work package on mobilization, but I just wanted to say that our next speaker will actually present purely on that work package. So if you have a question after that, we'll answer that for you. In the meantime, I don't see any other questions related directly to Anne-Sophie's presentation. But if you think of any questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to use the chat box. In the meantime, I will start to upload our next speaker's presentation. Our next speaker, Nutram, she will, of course, elaborate now more on the mobilization, how to join, what are the benefits, and what do we expect in return. So just bear with me while I upload it.
Good morning, everyone. So can everyone hear me perfectly, or do I need to make any modifications? I suppose it's fine. So I'm Nutram. I'm working for the Council of European Municipalities and Regions. And today what I will do is try to answer the questions that interested stakeholders have asked me since the beginning of February 2014. So the main questions that I have encountered is who can become a member, how do you become a member, and what is expected from the members and what do members get in exchange, of course. So the first question, who can become a member? Well, actually everyone that is sharing the project's objectives can join the thematic network. So what are the objectives? Of course, find smart and innovative evidence-based solutions to support active and healthy aging, and of course develop age-friendly environments. So we try to focus on these categories, which are local and regional authorities. For now, I just gave some examples, like the City Council of Leuven and the Municipality of Krakow, but of course there are other local and regional authorities who have joined the network in the meantime. Regarding the industrial sector, we have, for example, Kairos, who is a consulting and training company who recently joined the thematic network. A third category is research institute and universities who are focused on active and healthy aging. And the last one is civil society organization, which, for example, Age Platform Europe belongs to. So actually, if you share all these objectives and you belong to these categories, you can actually apply to become a member of the thematic network. So how do you become a member? Since mid-April, we have made the functionality available on our website. So you can join the network by registering if you click on this link. The presentation will be made available, so you can just click on it, but also you can go on our website and there will be a direct tab saying join the thematic network. The people who will register will have to do that in 2 different steps. The first step is quite easy. So you will just have to enter your organization name, your email address, and the email of the contact person. It is important to note that there is only one login and password per organization. So recently we had a member who registered twice, but under 2 different email addresses. So I had to tell them to share the login and the password. So you will get a confirmation email afterwards asking you to complete your profile. By completing it, it's not long, it's quite easy. It's just to put, for example, what you're interested in, in which category you belong to, how you can contribute to the project, and how did you learn about AFE INNOVNET. So you see, not a lot of things to ask. So this is the registration process that is only in 2 steps. So when you will get the login and the password, you will be able to access a blog for all the thematic network, and you will have access to all the directory of members, to the deliverables, to the methodologies, and so on. For now, it's still under construction, but soon it will be available to all of you. So the third question is, what is expected from the members? So as Anne-Sophie said earlier, we would like you to participate to the project, first of all, by the webinars. So it will happen for us, for example, to choose a theme per webinar, and if you are interested in that specific field or issue, you could, for example, send us an email saying that you would like to present your project or your initiative in your own city. So that could be the promotion of your initiative among other members of the thematic network. You are also welcome to comment on the project deliverables. Of course, during the project, some methodologies will be developed. So we will ask you to test and use them and give your feedback to it. You can also submit notable practices, help us recruit new members for the thematic network. So you are more than welcome to disseminate the information and the recruitment pack to all your contacts. For example, you are the city of Leuven, for example, and you can disseminate to the person you think will be interested in thematic network. And so we hope that by disseminating that information, these people will also be interested and thus join our thematic network and reach our long-term goal, which is the Covenant on Demographic Change. And finally, the last question that people usually ask is, what do members get in exchange? So as I said earlier, all the members of the thematic network will be listed on our website, so you will have the details. So you will be able to find partners for future projects. So industries, for example, if you're interested to make some partnerships with industries to develop a tool or so on, you will have access to their email address, for example. You will also be informed and updated about events and funding opportunities related to age-friendly environments. So please, you're welcome also to check our website, where we upload news and articles about projects that are going on in the field of active and healthy aging and age-friendly environments. Members are welcome to also upload good practices that will be shared among the members, so you have access to that directory of good practices, and you will be able to take part in the development of tools and methodologies. Finally, the last point that we think is important, it's quite important, is to have your activities and your events promoted on our website, but also through webinars. As I said earlier, if you think you could participate in a webinar and introduce a project that you think it's interested for other members, do not hesitate to send us an email, and we will take that into account and put you as a speaker, for example. So if you have any questions, you can send me an email or follow me on Twitter. You can also follow the project on Twitter. There is the name there, and also on LinkedIn. There is no deadline to join the thematic network. So since mid-April, it's available to join the thematic network. There is no deadline. People can join they can join in 2 months or now or in a year.
Thanks, New, for the presentation. I think now we have quite some questions after your presentation, so I'm going to try and attempt to be diplomatic and start from the earliest one. If I scroll up. So there was a question from Bulgaria. Are there any awards for best age-friendly municipality and/or cities foreseen in our project?
So the award would be we are still discussing how to promote, for example, the most active thematic network member. We could, for example, make that on the front page, to put your initiative on the front page of our website and make the promotion of it. But we are still discussing it, and we are open to all ideas if you want to share them, of course.
Thanks. I think you have answered already the question regarding the deadline to join. Just to reiterate, it's open. There is no specific deadline, but of course, the earlier you join, the better. The more information and the more interactive you can be with us and our thematic network members. The next question comes from Carlos Vargas. He says that he is at the University of Dresden, and they are part of our supporters list. Do we have to sign up separately, or are they a member of INNOVNET already?
So all the supporters are invited to register themselves from our website, and we will deal with their registration at the time. But it's not it's not because you're a supporter that you are automatically a member of the thematic network. You have to do the steps yourself.
Good. The next question is coming in the chat box. Can projects join the network as well as organizations?
Anne-Sophie? Maybe Anne-Sophie can help me for this.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I didn't hear properly.
Can project join the thematic network?
Christina, can you? Can project? Well, to join, you have to be an organization. So what I would recommend, you have to be a legal entity, and projects are very rarely a legal entity per se. But you could, through the project, encourage all the partners from your project to join. Let's say, and then they can indicate that they belong, for example, to one specific project, and use the project outcomes or the evidence they have built with their project to promote what they have been doing through the project. But as such, a project is very rarely a legal entity. Because just to explain, the thematic network is open to potential future signatories of the covenant. The idea is that we use these 2 years to mobilize stakeholders and build this covenant based on what the members of the thematic network will feel relevant for them. And the idea then is that the covenant is joined by legal entities, so local and regional authorities or industries or research centers or so. So this is why I would say as thematic network we can be quite open, but keep in mind that the purpose is to create a group who will then decide to go one step further and formally join the covenant. The political commitment will be much stronger when they decide to join the covenant than joining the thematic network. So we go in 2 steps.
Hello, Anne-Sophie, for that answer. In the meantime, we have a new question coming from Spain. Will there be only webinars or also workshops to interact in person? And I'm very happy that this question was asked because we can present a bit what we plan in the future.
So there are webinars planned every 2 months. The themes are still to be discussed. There will be workshops, but unfortunately they are only open to the consortium members. But sometimes we will think if we could invite some external people, but with very limited access. I mean, limited seats. And they will have to, the travel expenses will not be reimbursed. So this meaning that if you're really interested in taking part in some workshops, you could send us an email and we could consider your application for that.
Thank you. A question coming in. Are there any differences between the AFE project and the Age-Friendly Cities WHO? I think, Anne-Sophie, you already mentioned the clarification between the two, but maybe you could just repeat what the difference is and how we are working together, actually. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the whole idea started through a cooperation that Age Platform Europe had established with the WHO Global Network on Age-Friendly Environments. And our idea is to use the EU policy processes and the EU funding opportunities that we have to create some kind of a regional program of the global network on age-friendly environments. And this has been discussed with John Beard, for example, and Manfred Hubert, who is responsible now for the promotion within the European regions. And we are developing together a strong thematic network on age-friendly environments, which will, we hope, when the covenant is launched, become the official EU-specific regional program of the global network.
Great, thanks a lot for this clarification. In the meantime, I see there are some participants typing questions, but in order not to make it too long in between the two presentations, I would suggest that I upload our third speaker's presentation, and during that presentation I will collect all the questions that you type, and then at the end we will go through We'll bunch the questions together and we'll try and answer as many as possible. So please don't stop typing your questions. We will get back to you on those after the next presentation. So I will now upload our third speakers, which is Joan Martin, her presentation on Louth County Council and how they're working to support age-friendly environments, and importantly, how they are working linking up with our network. Joan, the floor is yours. If you want to unmute your mic and start the presentation, I think it's uploaded.
Thanks, Christina. Am I okay to go, yeah?
Absolutely. If you have a webcam, you can switch that on and start sharing it.
That's excellent. It, okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Marvellous. It must be so much better when people can see me. Good morning, everybody, and afternoon, I think, in some cases, and you're very welcome to Ireland, to County Louth, which was Ireland's first age-friendly county a few years ago, and we started the ball rolling in Louth here in Ireland, and we have been spreading the message around Ireland and beyond. So I want to tell you a little bit about our journey of becoming an age-friendly county. Anne-Sophie mentioned some of the statistics that we're all facing and the challenges that we're facing in the future with an ageing population. And like everybody else, that I suppose was the primary reason for becoming involved. And we're not very modest here. We're very proud of our achievements, and we consider ourselves to be a world leader. In our tiny little county, the smallest county in Ireland, in one of the smallest countries on the planet. So what are we trying to do? We're trying, as I said, to provide a response to the demographic challenge that the whole world is facing. People who know me in Europe, I'm always talking about finding the voice of older people. So we wanted, instead of us telling older people what they need, we wanted to talk to older people and find a voice, a representative voice. We wanted to develop a model of delivery within existing structures. We started doing all this work here in County Louth during the economic crisis. So we weren't looking to set up new structures or new money. We were looking at doing new work in new ways with the same resources and the same people. And we wanted to be able to roll it out. So we were the first county, as I say, and we worked on our own at the beginning, going out into other counties. And there's now a national programme, and there are officers at a national level who work full-time in rolling this out. We also wanted, very importantly, to challenge the public services in particular to adapt and respond to the challenges. It was no good carrying on working in the way we'd always worked, and particularly working in isolation as local government or as police forces or as health authorities. We had to work together. We had to find new ways of responding, and that's what we were setting out to do. So we wanted to increase the participation of older people, to improve the health and well-being of older people, to get a responsive service through partnership, and we wanted to lead the way in demonstrating. And that's why we're part of the European Innovation Partnership. It's all about exchanging best practice, about learning from others, and about what little we maybe can teach other people. We wanted older people to be leaders in their community, to actually be active participants, and to actually be setting the agenda, that they would feel involved, feel influential, that they would consequently, by being involved and being influential, they would be healthier. And this is one of the challenges we have with the innovation programme, is how do we measure the impact of involvement and social participation on people's healthy lives? How do we measure whether we're giving something to the 2 healthy life years? And Rod Bond, who I think is participating as a listener today, is working with the whole project here on trying to come up with ways of measuring that. We want older people to feel safe and secure, because when we ask them what are their priorities, safety and security, feeling safe in their homes, safe on the streets, is one of the key priorities. And the other key priority is access to information. They want to know, how do we find out? How do we do this? How do we do that? So, finding the voice. We had to set out to find the voice of older people, and we have 4 strands. We have older people's groups. So they could be groups like active retirement groups or clubs or whatever that older people already are active in. We have advocacy groups. So they're groups, a bit like Age Platform, say, that would represent the views of older people and would speak on their behalf, and particularly speak for vulnerable older people who are not able to come out and speak for themselves. Nursing homes, so public nursing homes, private nursing homes, that they would be represented, both the management of those, but also the forums that represent the residents, the relations, the aunts and the sons and daughters of residents. And then private individuals, individual people who had a particular interest in this area, a particular passion, because we're interested in people with passion and commitment. They're the kind of people that we want to work with and need to work with. So the role of the Older People's Forum, the voice of the older people, is to represent the voice of the older people. So that group provides representatives onto the Age Friendly Alliance, which here is the multi-stakeholder group of the public sector and the private sector who are responsible for providing services for older people. They also represent the older people on any other groups that we want to see older people represented on. They guide and advise, so they're not just there as another person sitting at the table. They are very active, and the people who have represented the older people's forums on any group I've been at are certainly very active, have plenty to say, and very sensible, pragmatic advice based on the real experience that older people have today. So they're working on promoting and developing the Age Friendly Initiative. So they collaborate with other groups, they communicate the development of the achievements, so they go out and sell the message. They say, yes, this is worth being involved in. This initiative of the regional authority, the local authority, is worth getting involved in. And they also support the delivery of the initiative in recognising the differences between urban and rural communities. And indeed, a lot of our work at the moment is more urban based. And we fully recognise that out in the rural communities, it's much more difficult to contact people because they're living in their own homes in ones and twos here and there, and it's much more difficult to get them to participate. And that's a key priority for us, because many of them are very lonely and isolated and cut off from the rest of the community and the rest of the people. So the older people bring to the table all kinds of wonderful projects that they've been doing. For example, the first one is a very Irish word, a Cúltacha. A Cúltacha, this is a Rod Bond project, if you don't know about Rod Bond. A Rod Bond project that's involved in providing a go-between or a liaison between individuals, particularly vulnerable individuals, and the services that they're trying to access and the services that they need. We've had wonderful projects like Fáilte. Now that's welcome in, it's Irish for welcome in. And this is older people in our community who are teaching new migrants from all over Europe and beyond conversational English. So people who come to live in Ireland who don't have much English, the older people are helping them to integrate with conversational English. We've a senior helpline, which is for older people who need help. If I could skip down, we have a great service called Good Morning Louds, Good Morning Drogheda, and these are older people who go in and work like a call centre on the internet, and they ring up individual older people who are lonely and isolated in their homes. They might ring them up once a week or every few days, and they say, hello, how are you? How's your life? Is everything okay? What's been happening? Have you any problems? And it's just a link, a proper link. I said we want to teach what we're doing and let people learn from what we're developing here in Louth. We've also learned from what's happening internationally, and men's sheds, an Australian idea, is a great example of that. We started off with the men's shed in Dundalk, where I live here in this town, where men were not getting involved. Women are much more involved in communities and social groups. We had a men's shed in Dundalk where they go in and they do man things, and they do woodwork and painting, and they meet and have tea and chat. And with the intention of rolling it out, and it rolled out just so quickly on its own. They're all over County Louth and they're all over Ireland, and it's been a wonderful example of something that we've brought in from somewhere else. What have we delivered? You can read all this later, there's so much of it. What have we delivered as the Louth Older People's Forum? They've done a baseline survey, they've developed a website, and the Louth website has now been adopted as the national format for age-friendly county websites. The RD Age-Friendly Town, which is a pilot project, a very interesting project. It's a pilot project that brought in not just older people but younger people and all kinds of aspects of the community, businesses, to say, how do we make this town, a very small town, 5,000 population, how do we make it more age friendly in terms of the streets and the layout and how businesses interact, the traffic lights, all of that. We have implemented it, and we have a toolkit, and that toolkit is now being used to roll out age-friendly towns in other parts of Ireland, and I'm sure it could be used in other parts of Europe. We have a transport project where we've been working again in a rural area to try and meet the needs of people where public transport is very limited, and we're trying to come up with personalised transport responses. So whether it's somebody who says, I'm going into town every Tuesday morning, I can give somebody a lift, or whether it's on the other side, somebody saying, I have to go to hospital every Tuesday for the next 6 months, how am I going to get there? So it's that kind of trying to link up and find responses within the community. We have a wonderful DVD on the journey, which we did for the first World Health Age Friendly City Conference, which was held here in Ireland in 2011. I'll be killed for talking too long, because I could talk, I have to say, never mind for 15 minutes. I could talk for 15 years about all of the things we're doing and all of the things we want to do here in Louth. Our work is based on the World Health Organization framework. You saw the flower and the petals in Anne-Sophie's presentation earlier. So under all of those, we have been doing projects, whether it's about outdoor spaces, and I mentioned the age-friendly town in RD, whether it's about community support and health services, and we're very interested in areas like dementia. We're very interested in pathways between people being in hospitals and whether they can get back to their own home or have to have an interim arrangement to go into long-term care. We're very interested in health promotion. We're interested in continuous learning, intergenerational work and volunteering, and civic participation and employment. As I said, the finding the voice for me is the key to everything. Instead of us telling people what they need to do, we started with no ideas, no presumptions about what we were going to do, blank sheet of paper, find the voice of the older person, ask them, what do you want us to do? What are your priorities? What do you need? Our programme, our project, our action plan is based on what they said they wanted, and then we go back to them and we say, we met you, you said you wanted this is what we've been doing, are we doing it good, are we doing bad, what else do we need to do? And that's how we've worked. So the voice, listening to the voice, responding to the voice, reporting back to the voice is really, it's at the heart of everything we're doing. We also saw an opportunity for business. So not just us responding to the older people, but there was opportunities for jobs and businesses to be created around providing services and providing products, specialised products for older people. So we've looked at the whole business area, whether it's something like wisdom in the workforce, so recognising that older people still have a lot to offer after they retire, whether it's saying, well, we should keep older people in the workforce longer, but they mightn't want to work full-time. We have senior startups, so you know, the whole idea of people after they retire, they might want to get involved in social enterprise. They might want to get involved in volunteering, like our Good Morning call service, or they might want to be involved in men's sheds, either as a participant or going in and offering classes or whatever in men's sheds. So there's so much work that we're doing in the whole business area as part of our overall economic development plan in the county. So age-friendly is at the heart of everything we do. We try to, as they say, mainstream age-friendly into all of our activities, and to consider it as a strand and an aspect in all our other work, as in this case in our economic development work. So this is where, when we looked at our economic development, we looked at, say, something like sustainable energy. We realised that for older people, many of whom can have low incomes, that the whole idea of improving their use of energy, reducing the cost of energy in their home was very important. If we look at something like broadband, the whole idea of people being able to be monitored, their health being monitored in their homes, the whole idea of Skype as a way of communicating with their family who might be all over the world, that in every aspect of economic development there's an age-friendly theme, and we have tried to look at that and to incorporate that into our way of doing business right across the board. So outputs, we've done so much, even though we would say we have an awful lot more to do. We have an age-friendly strategy. Our police force here in Ireland, our police force here in Louth, piloted an action plan for older people. We have a transport action plan. We have our business plan, our age-friendly town. We've held 5 conferences, about 50 workshops. We've done 2 surveys, including one that we just completed recently. On the collaboration level, we're involved in the European Innovation Programme, and can I say hello to everybody who's involved in that, and can I say how wonderful it's been, how much we're learning, all the new people we've met, and a bit like New talking about the benefits of being in the AFE INNOVNET network, equally within the innovation programme, we've met so many potential partners. Collage is our partnership with the University in Cork here in Ireland, and Collage was our 3-star, the name has gone out of my head, it'll come back to me, I have another slide. We've done information books on dementia, we have our Good Morning Call, we've volunteering, we've done housing adaptations, we've done so much that has made a real difference. Small things that often cost very little, and they've made a huge difference in the lives of our older people here in Louth. People were talking earlier about awards. We won the Taoiseach's Award, which is the Prime Minister of Ireland. He hands out so many awards in the public service every year. We've won an award there. With Collage in Cork, what I couldn't remember a second ago, we're a 3-star reference site. We were given that award last July. We're very proud of that. The European Innovation Commissioner, Maura Gagan-Quinn, who's Irish, came to Cork to present that to us. And we have great plans for how we're going to use that reference site to tell our story and to develop and grow age-friendly in Ireland in the coming years. We're affiliated, as I mentioned, to the World Health Organization. County Louth is part of the Age-Friendly Cities Network. The conference was held in Ireland in 2011. The Dublin Declaration, I suppose, was our effort at a mayor's declaration, at a covenant that Anne-Sophie has mentioned about developing on, building on and refining into a more European response rather than using the World Health Organization on its own. We've rolled out in the northeast, we've rolled out nationally, we have rolled out in County Louth across the border into Northern Ireland. So it's not just a national rollout, it's a bit of an international rollout. The work in the Innovation Partnership, our work in the D4, we feel is bridging the gap between research and practice. So we have the whole thing of having proper evidence, proper measurements, proper frameworks and planning, and then using that to deliver on the ground as local authorities, as a regional authority, is very important. And we see the merging of research and frameworks and toolkits and all of that with practice on the ground as being of vital importance. Our work in the Innovation Partnership has been about regional rollout, so it's this whole idea of scaling up and making it bigger. And we have scaled up on a regional level from 1 county into 5 or 6 counties, including one in Northern Ireland. we've been involved in regional coordination, and the National Group for Age-Friendly Counties has appointed an officer who works in our region. And we have a regional transport group, so the work we have done in Louth on transport, we're now trying to spread out on a regional level. So the regionalisation and scaling up is very much at the heart of what we're doing as part of our innovation partnership commitment. I think I've got to the end. I have, thank you. I would also like to say, just before I finish and hand you back to Christina, that we're involved in the first workshop. The first workshop under this project will be here in Dundalk, in County Louth. So, you know, we're looking forward to inviting people and getting a chance to show you a few of these things that I've been talking about. I'm sorry I put so much into it and I've thrown an awful lot of information at you, but you're always more than welcome to contact myself or my colleague Mary Deary, and we'd love to talk to anybody or to welcome anybody to Louth to show you what we're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joan. I think I speak on behalf of everyone that we could hear you, listen to you for 15 years talking about age-friendly environments because you're so passionate about it. So thank you very much for your presentation. I've been trying to follow the questions that have been coming out, and I've noticed there are two sets of questions. So the first set of questions are directly related to you and your presentation, and then there are still a couple which need to be answered by our previous speaker, Anne-Sophie, related more general to the project. So I'll start with you, and the questions directed to you. A couple ones, would you be willing to share, or can you share your age-friendly toolkit as an inspiration with the participants, with interested people?
Oh, absolutely. It's all on our website, and what I'll do is I'll send Nu the actual link on the website. I'm not sure whether we sent it already, but I will send it to Nu, and we'll get it put up on the website so that you can get the actual link. But it's on the Louth Age Friendly website. The website is called louthagefriendly.ie, but we'll send the link.
Okay, and I think we'll put it up on our AFE website as well. So we'll deal with that. The next question comes from Anna Leal, and it's asking, are ICT solutions being used as a means of support to reach out and communicate with the older people?
Well, I suppose the biggest place we're using ICT solutions, and I didn't even mention it, we have, with all our partners here in Louth, particularly Rod Bond in the Netwell Centre, we have a set of apartments that people live in that are right outside my window here in my office, and these apartments are like a living laboratory, and the people who live there are living in a very highly developed ICT environment. So they use iPads, they do the medical stuff, they make their contacts, they take their blood pressure, they have all kinds of applications, apps on their iPads for saying how they feel today. We can monitor their movement within the building with sensors. We can see whether there's a change in the pattern of whether they're going out or not going out every day. It's an astonishing place. It is just amazing, and maybe we can make some arrangement that we could share something online. We've done presentations. Rod did a presentation very recently on it, and we may be able to share that online in some way, or come to our workshop in July, and that's one of the places that you get to visit.
Excellent, thanks a lot for this. Just a quick follow-up to that question before I move on. Anna Leal just typed in the chat box, how do the older people react to the tools, and are they showing any resistance to using them?
Well, indeed. We all think that older people, now by older people I mean people in their 70s and 80s, are really not keen on computers, really not keen on, well, you would want to see the people, particularly the people in these apartments, but all over. We have a person on our age-friendly, our older people's network, who has won a national award for all the work she is doing training older people to use computers. But the people in the apartments behind me have written apps for their iPads. Never mind using an iPad. They are writing the apps for what they want to do and what they want to use the iPads for. So they react really well, let me tell you. It's amazing.
Good. So we're going to have to come along and visit the labs and see how it works.
Yes, indeed.
Then we have another question from Rita Mello. Does LAUF have any initiatives on intergenerational solidarity? And then this is also a question linked to then for Anne-Sophie at a later stage to link into our projects.
Oh yes, we have a number of projects. Like we would have done work between the generations at various times. Indeed, if again, I think it's on our website, but I'll send a link. We have a most wonderful video. It's really, really very funny. That was made by one of our younger peoples. We have Voice of Younger Person as well. We have our Younger Persons Parliament in County Louth, and they would have done work, and they have a most wonderful video. So there's a lot of intergenerational work going on at all levels, and it's a very important part of our work, yes.
Thanks a lot. The next question, are there any prizes or awards for older people or others working towards promoting active aging in your county or province?
Well, I mentioned that we've won an award, and one of our ladies won an award for her work in teaching older people how to use computers. But we have also, in the last couple of years, we have annual business awards that the Chamber of Commerce does in the big towns. And in both of those now, both our big towns, there's a new award that has been introduced there for age-friendly business. So we are looking at that, and indeed those of you who are involved in the Innovation Partnership will know that recognition systems and looking at recognition systems is one of the areas that Action Group 1, in which I'm involved in, is looking at during the project. But we do it in Louth, but we want to do more. I think it's very important to have recognition, both for older people, but more importantly to recognise people who make the effort to become more age friendly. It's very important.
Great, thanks a lot, Joan. There was a question earlier on, and this is more linked to Anne-Sophie and then the presentation that Anne-Sophie gave, so I will ask Anne-Sophie perhaps to answer this question. It comes from the AVCB, which is the Association of Local Regional Authorities in Brussels, and they ask, in the Covenant on Energy, there is a possibility for networks of local authorities to join as promoters of the Covenant, as they often cannot be signatories. And do we then, in our project, plan any formal role in the network for this kind of support?
Yes, that's a question we have not planned from the beginning when we started building our proposal, but it's a very relevant question because we are all aware that there are very active networks of regions and local authorities that exist and who are active in the active and healthy aging area. So obviously we need to take that question on board and discuss it internally with the thematic network members and then see how we could get them in. I would suggest that such network would be able to join the thematic network as a group, as a network per se. I don't see any reason why they couldn't. Then the question will be for the covenant, because as a covenant you have to be a legal entity. But certainly this idea of becoming promoters or having some possibilities to join as a, I would say, different category of stakeholders. The covenant is not only open to local and regional authorities, there will be also the possibility for other stakeholders to join. So I would certainly see a role for those networks to have a specific role as another category of stakeholders, and becoming promoters is certainly a great role they could play.
Great, thanks a lot for your response, Anne-Sophie. I'm just seeing that there are quite a few people typing, therefore I don't want to close the webinar just yet, unless it's all saying thank you. So I'll give it just a few minutes if there were any other questions to be asked. In the meantime, I would just like to remind everyone that on our website, which you can see in front of you now, afeinnovnet.eu, You'll find a lot of information, news, blogs, events related to age-friendly environments. And it's just starting up. But if you have anything to contribute or you'd like to get involved, just contact us. We're at the beginning stages, but we are looking forward to developing this at the European level with participation from everybody who's interested. And from the chat screen, it seems that most people are not asking questions anymore. And yes, the presentations will be available along with a recording of the webinar. So in case your colleagues have missed it, or if you'd like to promote this webinar to your members, you'll be able to do so in the coming week or so. And we will provide all the information on our website. So I think with this, I'd like to thank everyone for attending the webinar, for taking time out during your lunch break for this, and we look forward to working with you in the coming months on developing further our network on age-friendly environments. So I wish you all a pleasant afternoon, and thanks a lot, of course, to our speakers who gave us a very inspiring vision of age-friendly environments. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Christina and John and all the others.
Thanks to all the participants, and we welcome you, of course, to the next webinar planned in June, and we'll send you save the dates to all those that are interested in. Thank you.